Hello all and welcome to Crochet Designs. My name is Mary and in today's tutorial we are working on this gorgeous little hexagon piece you see right here, and this is part one of our Mystery Hexagon Blanket. Yay! Now for those of you who are already my regulars, you would already know this blanket has been done a long time ago. Yours truly accidentally deleted it. Not the whole blanket, just parts 1, 2 and 3. Oh, I'm so clever like that. Now, I decided just to use the similar footage that I had, and I just changed a few things around and just, added my own new touch to it all. And we're just doing this hexagon piece again. So part one of the blanket. Now, if you want to have a quick look see at the blanket, you've already seen it. Let's see if I can get out there further. You've already seen it in the promo anyway, or maybe in the our recent videos or our lives or whatever, but that's the blanket we're working on. How gorgeous is this? Yes, and that piece you see right there is that one right there. Just the one. All right, well, I'll show you properly in parts 2 and 3 anyways, but in the meantime you will need your Caron cakes. That's the one I use. Now, you don't have to use Caron cakes, okay? Just make sure if you're in Australia, use a 10 ply or an Aran weight, or a number 4 overseas if you're overseas. I just used the Caron cakes because I had 6 of these skeins and I didn't know what to do with them. All right, so actually with the dark green, you need this one here, you need a good 200 grams worth, okay? So you need a lot because you need to make this piece, but you also need to make your join as you go with the dark green and the light green, but more so with the dark green, and your border row and this one dark green hexagon piece. Now you will need 200 grams. If you don't have 200 grams of this color, then you can probably use another color to do your borders with. Okay, now I say borders because there's 3 stages I think to the border. There's this one here and that, and then there's this middle bit, and then there's the edge. Okay, so there's a long way coming, but let's just focus on today. Today we're using the Caron cakes. As you can see, I did tear apart quite a few pieces to get the pieces that I need. You are going to make this piece right here, and at the end of the tutorial I explain how many more pieces you will need and the color combination. All right, in the meantime, I'm not going to talk anymore. We're just going to get started making part 1 of your Mystery Hexagon Blanket, the hexagon. All right, we're going to start off with a quick slip knot, and that's yarn over your finger once and twice. Okay, pass the back loop halfway over the front loop, hold it there, pass the other loop, whoops, all the way over, grab your hook, pop it in and give everything a tug. We're going to start off by chaining 1, and a chain is yarn over your hook, pull a loop through once, and we're going to do a second one, a third one, and one more, and that's 4 chains. Now slip stitch at the very first chain that you started with right there. Easy. Pop your hook in and grab a loop, pulling it through that slip stitch and pull it through to the loop on your hook. Okay, so that's the one you're holding right there, and keeping that center open because you're going to work in that space. Pull your loop through, chain 1, and we're going to start off by putting a single crochet right in that space, and that is over all thicknesses. Okay, that's through the whole space. Yes, now pull the loop through, 2 loops on your hook, yarn over, pull through 2. Now altogether we need 12 single crochets within that circle. Okay, so you've got 1. Let's start again. This is single crochet number 2, pull the loop through, and you've got your 2 loops on your hook, yarn over your hook, pull it through both those loops. Easy. All right, single crochet number 3. Okay, yes, and 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and let's move everything over, 10, 11, and one more for the 12th stitch there. Alrighty, now we actually do need to count our stitches before we start, or before we slip stitch to join. We need 12 altogether, and how we count them is, see these little V's you see right here? We have to count those. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and my 12th one is hidden right in there. It's stuck right in there. So there we go. Alright, now we're going to slip stitch to join. And a slip stitch is right in that very top of that 12th stitch. That's the very first stitch that you made. You've popped your hook in. Now pull that loop through and pull it through to the loop on your hook. It was a little bit of an awkward round, but it will get better from now on, but it'll get a lot easier. To start off with, for our next round, we're going to start off by chaining 4, and that is 1, 2, 3, and 4, and that will act as a double crochet and a chain 1 in this round. Okay, now we're jumping straight into that very next stitch, and that's the stitch right here. It's the very next one after the one we just did, and we're going to be popping a double crochet. It's a little too close, sorry guys. So yarn over your hook, pop your hook in the very next stitch, pull a loop through, yarn over your hook, pull through 2, yarn over your hook, pull through the last 2. Now that's a double crochet. Chain 1, and we're going to do it the same one in the very next stitch. Double crochet right in there, pull through 2, and another 2, and then chain 1 again. And this is what we're going to do throughout this row. 1 there, chain 1, another one there, chain 1, and so on. Pretty exciting. Oh, it's relatively easy this round. Okay, chain 1 and double crochet, chain 1. All right, and another double crochet in the next, chain 1, one in your next, chain 1, almost there guys, in the next, and so on. Terrific. Very, very close now. All right. And oh, oops, I wanted to show you something. In this section here, it looks like that we actually have missed a stitch, but we haven't. See, those chains belong in that stitch there. So we really only have that one stitch left. So we're going to pop our double crochet in there, like so. Now before we chain 1 and slip stitch to join, just make sure you've got 12 across. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, and yes we do. All right, and you should have 12 chains in between each double crochet. All right, and we actually have to be very careful and make sure we do have our chains all the way around. It's really important, otherwise our count will be out later when we do our next round. Okay, now don't forget we still need to chain 1 here first before we slip stitch to join. All right, now when we join, we are going to be joining or slip stitching to chain 3. Now that's a double crochet and a chain right there. That top chain, the very, very top chain, is a 4th chain. So you really have to slip stitch into the one next to it, which is the 3rd one, and not that 4th one right there, because we need the 4th chain to act as a chain space. Okay, all right, so grabbing your hook and just popping it in the top of the 3rd chain, and right next to it's the 4th one. Okay, so don't pop it in there. Pull your loop through, and there you go. Now you're pulling it through to the loop on your hook. And now we're going to chain up 4 once again. 1, 2, 3, and 4, and we're going to pop a double crochet in that same stitch that we are actually in right there. So that little tiny space there, pop your hook in, pull a loop through, pull it through 2 and the other 2, and that will count as a double crochet and a chain 1 and a double crochet. All right, you actually had that chain 1 on the chain 4. Okay, so we're going to chain 1 again, and now we're going to work into the very next stitch, not the space right there, but the stitch itself, which is that little V that you see there. Pop your hook in the V, you've got your yarn over your hook, put it in the stitch, pull up a loop, 3 loops, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through the last 2, chain 1, And then you're going to pop yet again another double crochet in the same space. So actually what you've done is formed a V-stitch. So you're going to chain one and then do the same in the next stitch. And you're going to form V-stitches all the way across your row. Double crochet, chain one, double crochet, chain one, and then jump straight onto the very next stitch. So you are chaining one in between stitches and chaining one in between spaces as well. Okay, double crochet, chain one, double crochet, and there we go. Chain one again, and off we go. Popping your V-stitch in there, like so, and the V-stitch, as you know, is a double crochet, chain one, double crochet. And don't forget, after every V-stitch, you are chaining one to get out of the V-stitch. Now you pop your V-stitch in there, double crochet, chain one, and a double crochet, and chain one to get out of the V-stitch. Don't forget those chain ones. That'll put your count out of whack. All right, V-stitch. Whoops, out of frame. It happens. Sorry guys, I do occasionally get out of frame. I apologise for that. All right, here we go. And we're V-stitching it all the way across. We're almost there. Almost. Almost. Well, no, not really. Yet a few stitches to go. Oh, can you hear the rain pounding down there? Almost there. Chain one, double crochet. Alrighty, we're pretty close now. I think we've got one more left. Chain one. Oh, I'm all over the place. Alright, here we go. We do have one left, alright? But before we slip stitch to join, we have to make sure we get that last one. It can be tricky and missed, so try not to miss it. Okay, now we're going to put our last V-stitch just at the top, making sure we've chained our one. Don't forget that. I was forgetting it when I was doing my previous pieces, so don't forget your chain ones. Okay, chain one. All right, now before you continue, you need to count your V-stitches, all right? Go ahead and count them. I have 12 across this way. And also don't forget, you actually have to count your chains as well, okay? Your chain spaces. You have to make sure you have 12 chain spaces because our next round we are forming our hexagon. Yay, get excited. All right. Okay, now we need to slip stitch in top of that third chain again, not the fourth one. 1, 2, 3, that one there, not this one here. If it helps you, just count one chain back and you'll just, find that third one. That's the way I do it. All right, so pop your hook in, 1, 2, 3, yes. Whoa, a little bit of a tight stitch mine, sorry guys. It does happen occasionally, happens a lot with me. All right, so just pull your loop through, pull it through to the loop on your hook. And now we're going to form our next section. We have to slip stitch into this space. Okay, pull a loop through and pull it through to the loop on your hook. We are now working in the space. Chain 1, 2, and 3 and do a double crochet. All right, and now we are chaining 1 and 2 in the space here, and we are putting 2 double crochets as well. Okay, and that's your first cluster. Alrighty, now this row can be a tad tricky. In between these spaces you see, we're going to put double crochets. In between the V-stitches, you're going to be popping half double crochets. It's a little bit tricky, but once you see the first section, you'll know what I mean, all right? So we're going to start off by popping a double crochet in between the 2 posts and not in the next stitch. Okay, there's your 2 posts right there, okay? Not in a stitch, just between the posts, see? One there, that's a double crochet. All right, and you're going to pop your half double crochet in your V-stitch, and a half double crochet is yarn over your hook. Pop your hook in this V-stitch, pull a loop through, 3 loops on your hook, pull the yarn through all 3 loops on your hook, and now you're going to pop a double crochet in the next space. All right, and in this space here you're going to do a corner, which is the one we did right there, and it's 2 double crochets, chain 2 and 2 double crochets, and that's your second corner. as part of the hexagon. Now, see what we've done here all the way across this section? That is the repeat row. That's it. So in your next space, not your V-stitch, your next space, you're going to put a double crochet. So you're just repeating this section. And in your V, you're going to put your half double crochet, which is yarn over, pull through all 3 loops. And then you pop a double crochet in your next, right there. And you guessed it, we're going to do a corner. 2 double crochets, chain 2 and 2 double crochets. Okay, it's not, I won't say it's easy, I'll just say that it's a repetitive section, if you will. All right, so all you need to do is remember that section we just did. All right, so we're going to start it again. Double crochet in your next space between your V stitches, okay, and then half double in your V, double in your next. So all your spaces are being filled, and now you're doing your corner. 2 double crochets, chain 2 and 2 double crochets all in your V-stitch there. Okay, repeat your side. Pop into your space before your V-stitch and do your double. Half double in the V, double in the space, corner, 2 double crochets, chain 1 and 2 and 2 double crochets. Start again. Double, half double in your V, double, and corner, 2 double crochets, chain 2 and 2 double crochets. And again, a double in the space. We're almost there, guys, almost there. Half double in your V-stitch, and there is actually a space right before there. See that space right there? You're going to put a double crochet in that space, and then we're going to slip stitch to join right on that very 3rd chain. Okay, remember we only have 3 in this round, so right on the very, very top chain there. Would have paid to have used stitch markers, right? Next time. All right, so pull that loop through and pull it through to the loop on your hook. Pull up a loop, give your work or your tail a cut. You have now formed 1 hexagon. Yay! Alrighty, so you have 1 dark green. Okay, now let me show you some of the other colours there. There's a light green. It's not a very good, lighting doesn't do it justice, but it's a lighter green. Okay, now what I want you to do is actually only make 1 dark green. Just the one, because we are going to use the rest of the dark green as a join as you go and a border, and we may even use another colour as a join as you go, but we need it for the border, so we're going to need quite a bit of your dark green. All right, so just 1. Okay, all right, so for the rest of the colours, this is what I want you to do. Ooh, check this out. Is it not gorgeous? So each section will look something like this. Okay, so this is how one section of your blanket is going to work. Okay, alrighty, so you will need 6 of these oranges. Yes, actually you'll need 12 because we need 2 sets, so 6, 12, and you will need 12 of the pink. Oh, very nice. So 12 orange, 12 pink, 12 dark pink. In fact, you will need 12 of each color, and you will actually need 12 of your green. All right, let me just show you better so you know what I'm doing. Okay, 12 of the orange, the light pink, the dark pink, and 12 light greens, and 1 dark green. Okay, so that's 4 12s is 48, and the dark green included makes that 49. So you need 49 hexagons. And eventually we are going to be doing some halves, half hexagons, and I'll show you how to do the half hexagons in part 2 of our blanket. So there you go, guys. This is part 1 of our series, the hexagon piece. Part 2 will be the half hexagons. And when I created these pieces, by the way, I changed them to suit me, which is why I'm calling this a mystery blanket. So there you go. All right, now before we go, we have one more job we need to do. The last job we need to do is weaving in the ends. Now, a lot of you already know how to do this, but for our newbies now, I'm about to show you a good way to weave in your ends and get them all sorted out before you return here for part 2. Alrighty, and what we actually do need to do as well is weave in that middle thread as well, the very first thread we started. But let's work this one here out first. Find a little spot at the back. We need to find a spot. Let me get a close up here. We need to find a spot where it will be hidden and not annoy us later when we are doing our border. Oops, did I say too much? Okay, so we're just going to find some thread here, and I've actually split that yarn. And there's nothing wrong with splitting. A lot of people say, no, it's a no-no in crochet, but I do it all the time. Just make sure your work is correct before splitting yarn, because it's hard to take undone without having to cut your piece. All right, so just keep trying to find little sections right down the bottom. Make sure you can't see your needle in the front. If you can, you have to undo that before you continue. All right, how's that? That's looking all right. Bit tight. Try not to pull it too tight, okay? And we'll just find, I reckon we go in here. That might be a nice place to weave that in. And once we weave it in there, that tail should be hidden completely. And you are sliding it inside the stitches, yes? Make sure you can't see the needle from the front, and you can't. And just pop that through. Perfect, all right? Having said that, I think we need to do probably, don't pull too tight. See, that's what happens when you pull too tight, okay? Make sure you've got the perfect tension. We're going to weave in one more time, just the other way, like so. Making sure it's a different area, yeah, so you don't unravel what you just did. And you can't see the needle from the front. Perfect. Let's pop that through. And we're done, okay? Give your work a bit of a tug. You know what? I would like to go through just one more time. I'm a little bit of a stickler with ends. You don't always have, you could have cut it there. You don't always have to do that. I'm just a little bit pedantic. Alrighty, here we go. Cut your work. Alrighty, but guess what, guys? You're going to weave this one in as well. Look, don't let anyone tell you that this will not come undone in the wash just because we've crocheted over it. It can. Personally, I wash by hand anyways, but there you go. I'm going to literally just pop the needle in through the back of the stitches. Make sure you're working from the back and you can't see the needle. Gorgeous. Now we're going to keep going around. This thread is really tiny. I do apologize. So I'm going to try and get in there like so. I should have left a longer tail, shouldn't I? Deary me, can't take me anywhere. All right, so there we go. Right through. Oh, real tiny, real tiny. Give it a push. Alrighty, I may have to, oh, it's come undone. That's okay. Go back the other way, by the way, guys. So I'm just going to pop my needle in here and rethread it. And it's a bit awkward. It's a little bit awkward with this tiny little tail. Oh, it happens. Oh, what do you do? All right, we're in. Okay, so just pass that through. And actually, it is very important to go through in the opposite direction. That stops it from coming undone. I'm not going to get any more out of that, so let's give it a cut. Alrighty. Now, if you wanted to, you didn't have to weave in that final end because we're going to pop border rows over these little hexagon pieces. And what you should probably best to do, which is what I usually do with this particular piece, is I actually crochet over the tail and then I weave it in underneath the crochet. All right, so I don't usually do that, but do pop the middle loop in, your very first tail you had, pop that in, weave that in. But the last one, don't stress too much about, okay? Now, here we go. So in the meantime, get all your shapes going. Too exciting. It's a little bit wobbly at the moment, but it will sort itself out, I promise. Get your shapes going. Get all your hexagons created. This is what you're looking at. Okay, I'm a little bit crooked here, sorry. But this is what you're looking at, all right? You are going to be using this light green, and the dark green will just be a single, but your light green will be your normal, okay? Just, you know what, you can use any colors that you like, so long as you're happy with them. Thank you so much for watching, guys. Get ready for part 2. That's coming up in about just under a week or a week away, but that gives you plenty of time to catch up with all your little hexagon pieces. Alrighty, don't forget, guys, we do lives every Wednesday afternoon at 4 p.m. and every Saturday morning at 10 a.m. Melbourne, Australia time, that is, and we discuss our projects, and we'll be discussing our hexagon pieces then. We'll also be talking about our half hexagon pieces and the blanket itself. Alright, for all the other links to the blanket, please check the description box down below, and I will have parts 1 all the way through to the end. All right, thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to like, subscribe and share, and do all those wonderful things that you guys, well, pretty much already do for me. And all I want to say right now is, gorgeous. Ciao for now.